Hello and welcome back to Cars of Glasgow. I'm Thomas and today you join me with this, the all-new Mazda 6e. This is an all-electric saloon-esque hatchback car, and in this video I'm going to give you a walk around tour of the car, show you what it's like in the interior and then get it out on the Scottish roads for a test drive. So stay tuned for this video. It's been a few years since Mazda's launched an electric vehicle, since the MX-30, which was an electric SUV. They have joined up with the Chinese brand Changyang with the Deepal SL03, which is sold over there. This is based on that model, and in this video we're going to see some of the similarities of this being like a Mazda skinned version of a Chinese product. Now up front we do have the Mazda grille, which is kind of synonymous. We've got the kind of wing design. We do have little lights here that light up when you plug the car into charge. You can see the quite slim headlights as well. It does look like a fresh version of a Mazda 6. Now you will notice this one's in Swiss plates because it is a European spec car. Currently at the moment we do not have the UK models already. The UK is set to get their cars in summer 2026. This is an early first drive to see what the Mazda 6 will look like. I do quite like the thin daytime running lights. They've kind of got some interesting lines and detail within there. And then we've got your secondary housing for your lights just below that there. So a take on a split headlight design with the air curtain built into the bumper, which seems to be more and more popular these days to help with efficiency and aerodynamics. Now this one's finished in the Soul Crystal Red paint, which I think is probably the best colour you could get for a Mazda. If you get a Mazda, I would recommend this colour. I think it looks great if it's an MX-5, a Mazda 3, whatever it is. A fantastic paint job they do here. Now work our way to the side of the car, you are going to notice that profile of that hatchback saloon-esque style design. This one is riding on the 19-inch alloy wheels, diamond cut aero blade fixture in the middle, Michelin e-Primacy tyres. Do have some black gloss plastic around the wheel arch there. They will come in Takumi and Takumi Plus trim. This one is the top of the range Takumi Plus trim. There's also two electric battery options for you, and this is the long range of the 80 kilowatt hour battery. Black gloss plastic seems to be a theme with this car. We do have it on the mirrors with your 360 camera. This piece of trim here in the door card to remind you this is the Mazda variant, and then we've got the black trim going across the top of the roof, and you can see a big glass panoramic roof on top there. Now the windows are frameless, which we'll touch on later on, but I thought I was pointing that out while we're here because it adds a little bit of a design element to the vehicle. So this is where your charging flaps are. We do have your AC/DC charger. The home charging you're going to get from 0% to 100% in about 8.5 hours, 8 hours 40 minutes. Mazda claim around 10% to 80% charge. They're saying in about 47 minutes with the 90 kilowatts hour fast charger, so that's worth mentioning. And it's also worth mentioning when we're outside, we do have McPherson strut suspension up front and multi-link suspension on the rear, with 310mm vented discs up front and 306mm solid discs in the rear of this car. So as we step round the back of the car, you're going to notice the profile of the Mazda 6e. You're going to notice that light bar going across. It does have like a 3D effect with this black kind of rhombus print over the light itself. I have deployed the spoiler so you're able to get the full aesthetic of how that looks. We do have the 6e badging, of course being electric, no tailpipes, but we do have parking sensors, a little bit silver trim, and this is kind of like debossed plastic here. That black gloss plastic is really making its way into this vehicle. Under the Z we do have your reverse camera, but under the D is where your tailgate button is going to be. Takumi Plus model, electric tailgate, and you can see that hatchback opening up. With the boot up, we do have about 466 litres of boot space. It is squared off. There's not really any secret cubbies because even underneath the floor it's velcroed and there's like a fire can and a warning triangle. So this is what you see is what you get. It does have 60/40 folding seats, a big speaker in the back, and in there is where your battery is going to be for your 12 volts, so I wouldn't really touch that. Partial shelf or vanity kind of cover to hide your belongings from unwanted prying eyes, shall we say. But overall, it's what you kind of expect of a car. Currently there is no estate version mentioned, if that's going to come at all or be made, so this is the only configuration you can get with the hatchback. Now the rear light design, Mazda do say this takes inspiration from the Mazda 3 and the Mazda RX-7. You can let me know in the comments below what it reminds you of there. Let's check out the interior of the car. You join me in the back of the Mazda 6e. Now footroom is the first thing that's quite tight. I'm struggling to get my feet underneath the passenger seat there, but you can just about do it. I am 5'11", so knee room's not too bad. Headroom's tight just because of the kind of shape of this roof line here, the glass roof. It's a little bit tight for 5'11" me. Trying to get yourself comfortable. Doesn't need to be any obvious recline in the rear of the seat, but we do have map pockets in the back of the seats. We are able to move the passenger seat forward from here, so I guess if you were chauffeuring or whatever, or you wanted to annoy mum and dad up front, you could do that. We've got the blind controls as well back here, as well as haptic feedback to control the temperature and fan speed of those climate vents there. We do have a USB charger underneath that, and a little bit of storage underneath that as well, as maybe good for a wallet. Now we do have an armrest in the middle, which it is quite difficult to get out. There's no pull tab or anything. However, once pulled down, we have black gloss plastic with 2 cup holders there, which is, I guess, nice to have and have that capability. We do have a Mazda debossed into this kind of trim piece here or on the back of the seat, just to remind you what you're driving or what car you're in if you can't see the badge, and you can see through as well if nobody's sitting in the passenger in front of you. But overall, it's not too bad place to sit here. We do have the Sony sound system. Quality of the materials is a little bit scratchy, but on top of the door card at least it's got that kind of soft touch material for the first and maybe third. And we've got a nice blend of like chrome, that fake wood, and a door bin which is welcome as well. It's not lined with fuzzy stuff or anything. I always think that's the premium touch when it's lined with fuzzy stuff, but we do have a squidgy armrest, and yeah, but if variable's going to be, it's fine back here, it's not revolutionary. And we do have the flameless windows, which I am nervous about, as this would be a family vehicle in the Scottish winters for them freezing up. But maybe that will be solved when you're charging at home and you're defrosting it before you get in the car. Who knows, but just worth mentioning. Now let's check out up front. You join me up front in the cabin of the Mazda 6 Electric. Now what you're going to notice is we've got this tan interior continuing all through the cabin, some black trim. This is the Takumi Plus model, so it's the top of the range, finds the panoramic roof, Sony sound system, everything's pretty much electric. And what you're going to notice, unlike other Mazda models, this is a departure, we do have almost no physical buttons to touch or interact with. Gone is the rotary knob, no buttons for your climate control, etc. It's all done through this touchscreen here. Now this is where that deep-HAL influence is going to be, because the Mazda can't really change too much with it, but you are able to customize and change a lot of features in it. Like we can open and close the blinds, you can close all, and you can see the graphics there. We're able to adjust the seats all by the touch of a button, which is pretty fantastic to use. I guess there's a lot of kind of technology built into this. Heads-up display. These buttons down here are hard keyed into the vehicle, so like anything on this side, in the far left, is going to bring up sub-menus, a little bit like what you see in a deep-HAL, other product like the deep-HAL SO1 that I drove, or maybe even like something like a Tesla, your lights, your controls, literally everything's through here. I'm not going to go through it all today, but you are able to go through various system settings, turn off the ADAS, etc., all through things in the car here. It is quite an extensive list. We do have other shortcuts down here as well, so you can have your heated and ventilated seats, climate control, but what you are able to do is pull down and you've got things from your vehicle settings to local apps, so that's where your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and that exist. You can edit that and you can switch them around, so if you do want to change those little icons down below, they kind of vibrate and shake left to right when they're ready, and you can replace them with things like your radio or Apple CarPlay or any of the other vehicle settings that you might want to switch. Instead of having like your ventilated heated seats, you might say I want ambient lighting there. So it does give you that customization to you. Now we do have 2 climate control vents in the centre here. Just below the screen we do have 2 climate vents, and we've got 2 on one on each side of the passenger and one for the driver. In the centre we do have 1 wireless phone charger. This is European spec, it's on the left hand side. We will see if they move it to the right hand side for the British cars. 2 cup holders here. It is surrounded by this kind of like full wood trim and a lot of plastic, and then you're going to notice there's like Mazda emblem on the side here. You push that and that pops open the centre cubby. Now it is lined with fuzzy stuff, there is rubber under there. I have noticed the action is quite vigorous the way it opens up. We do have a floating console in the centre here with a little bit of storage. It seems to be the trend with electric cars. Would not be a Cars of Glasgow video without a glove box reveal, which is lined with the fuzzy stuff, softly damp to an extent, but it's no fuse box as well. And again, being a left-hand drive car, that could be because it's left-hand drive. We will see if we get the UK spec cars next year if the fuse box is moved, but at the moment it's doing quite well. And this is the Mazda key. Apparently it's the first Bluetooth Mazda key, so yeah, it's a first for everything. Quite a chunky key in fact. The steering wheel itself, we do have black on the outside, tan on the inside. 2 favourite buttons, so we can set them up. So this one's set up so you've got your headlights on right hand side's favourite, left hand side is where your wipers are going to be, because again the wipers are controlled through the screen in the centre. Eyeball detection up there. Left hand side there is an indicator stalk and a little button there, a little bit like Tesla to scoosh. Now like Tesla and some of the Genesis and Hyundai products, when you indicate you do get your blind spot camera popping up in the centre here, which I think is pretty cool, and yeah, I like when cars have that. Good visibility in general, but when you're looking, you can see your cameras pop up. Gear selectors on the column, a little bit like Mercedes and some other products there, so it kind of alleviates the centre of the cabin here. The steering wheel itself does have adjustment, reach and rake, but it is manual, which in a car with everything being electric, that surprises me. Heads-up display, around instrument binnacle, it does have Mazda, which is kind of rubbed for your pleasure, and then we do have the Sony sound system in this vehicle. Electric windows all round, and then we do have lock and unlock buttons and a physical mechanical door release, which is nice to see. A little bit of stitching, and the materials up here are not too bad. Again, there's some scratchy plastics kind of the 2/3 down, but where your top of your elbows are going to be, it is softly kind of lined, and there's a bit of a speaker grille there. And overall quite a pleasant place to be. Much more room up here than there is in the rear. I'm 5'11" and I can slide the seat low down and get myself pretty comfortable back here. One last thing to mention is your hazards are up on the roof. I thought that was an interesting touch. They've done that, I guess, to clear up the cabin, but if you own one of these and you need an emergency, hazards are up on the roof there. Right, you join me behind the wheel of the Mazda 6 Electric. I've put it into sports mode, national speed limit, and there we go at 60. All that power goes to rear wheels. This is the lower performance version. I think it's 245 brake horsepower roughly, because it is the larger battery, but it does not too bad. It's pretty brisk. You do have that low end torque. Now let's pop it back into normal for going round this roundabout. A little bit of body roll. I feel my double chins there. Punch it through. I feel like I've came down a different road this time than my left. This is even better. Fantastic, Thomas. Now, while I do this 3-point turn with the cameras, it is worth mentioning the blind spots on that C-pillar without the camera is a little bit more challenging. I do like the 360 camera popping up, but your over the shoulder is not the best view at that C-pillar there. We do have a little kind of window to help with visibility back there for driving, and the mirrors are quite small. They're quite like rectangular for the size of the vehicle. It's quite a large vehicle. I guess they've done that to imprint car and not SUV, but when the cars are this large, you'd expect it, well, I would think a little bit more visibility, because they're quite narrow. Now, let's see. I can definitely feel the rear-wheel drive chassis in this car. And the driver assistance I have turned off and reduced today, so I'm not competing with and fighting with the driver assistance tech and that, so you can actually feel and enjoy the steering in this vehicle. The handling setup feels set up for comfort. It's pretty average overall. It's not bad and it's not excelling in any way, but driving's good, the braking's not bad. At the moment I don't have like any regen braking, it's just kind of coasting, so I'm putting the foot down. Have we got anything in individual? Power style, coasting recovery, let's put it to high. Is that going to give us more regen? Yeah, I think that's working. Yes, I've put that instead of standard, that's in coasting recovery's high. Not quite one pedal driving, but I can feel it pulling me forward a wee bit on the regen braking, a little bit more than it was in standard. In standard it was acting like a normal car, which I guess some people might want. I think when you're driving an EV, I particularly like it to be close to one pedal driving as possible. I think that's one of the nice benefits. But overall in the car, cabin feels, good visibility, sight lines, interior quality feels decent. I would say everything going through that touchscreen is not my favourite. I do prefer the previous Mazda interiors where you had that flexibility between a rotary knob, touchscreen, some physical buttons. Maybe they'll bring that into other Mazdas, or maybe this is the direction we're going with the big giant screen. Who knows? But overall, the charging rates are going to vary depending on what models, so do keep that in mind. Pricing hasn't been announced yet because this is a European spec car. Find out more in 2026. So I just want to say thanks very much for watching this video on the Mazda 6e. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment your thoughts on the new Mazda 6e below. Special thanks to Mazda UK for having me on the drive day for this vehicle, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, X and all the other good social media platforms. I'll leave that information below. Ciao.